Hi everyone, it's me, Spring the Fiber Enthusiast, coming to you with a ear warmer pattern tutorial. That's right, we're coming into cooler weather here in the States, in most of the states. And yeah, it's time to start getting on some ear warmers and hats and fingerless mitts and stuff like that. So I've worked up a matching ear warmer for the recently posted poncho that I made, which is called the Mint Kiss Poncho. So the name of this ear warmer is the Mint Kiss Ear Warmer to go along with it. Now, I used the rest of what I had of my hand spun yarn. In order to do any more, I would have had to spin more yarn. I literally went to the very last stitch with it. And some more of the Heartland by Lion Brand. And this is in the colorway Sequoia. So it's a very simple, easy to follow pattern. And yeah, so I used a 4.5 millimeter hook with a 4-weight yarn. Now that is up to you. If you're a very tight crocheter, you might want to step it up a crochet hook. If you're a loose crocheter, you're going to want to go down a crochet hook. I'm going to give you the standard number of stitches that I used for this particular pattern. We'll go ahead and get started. For today's tutorial, I am going to be using, move this out of the way, I'm going to be using Bernette Premium. So we're going to do one that matches the dark poncho that I made in the tutorials. I'm going to use this teal colored Bernette Premium, and I have some leftover Pound of Love. I'm hoping I can get pretty close to finishing up another ear warmer for you. So let's go ahead and get started with our wonderful, wonderful ear warmer here. This is made in the flat, sewed together into the round, and then you sew in your ends. So we'll look at that real quick. Here's where it's sewn together, right here. There we go. All right. So with your main color, if you have not made the poncho and you just want to make the ear warmer, you can do this in a solid color or you can do this in contrasting colors. I'm choosing to do it in contrasting colors because it's going to match the ponchos that I made. So with the main color right here, this is going to be my main color, the Pound of Love, and this is the charcoal, I believe. So with the main color, you're going to chain a total of 77 plus 3. So place a slip knot on your hook and then just yarn over and pull through and continue working until you have a total of 77 plus 3. Once you have that, I will meet back up with you and show you the next step. Okay, so once you have your chain of 77 plus 3, I'm going to be working into what I refer to as the spine or the bumps on the back of your chain. I am going to place a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. This doesn't count as anything, just a loop on your hook. So you're going to count back 1, 2, 3, and 4 stitches. Yarn over and insert your hook into that stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2 more. You now have 2 double crochets because this turning chain counts as your first double crochet. You're now going to place 1 double crochet in every stitch along your chain. working into the back bumps. And the reason I do that is because it gives it a nice clean finish on both edges. And I'll show you what I mean. Set that down. So if you look here, you have a nice clean edge. And then if we turn it over, again, you have a nice clean edge. They are very similar. They both have give to them. Okay, so going back to our chain, continue placing a 1 double crochet in every single bump on the back of your chain until you have reached the end of the chain. Once we have made it that far, I will meet back up with you and show you the next step. Okay, so once you have made it to the end, you should have a total of 78 double crochets. We're going to chain 3 and turn our work. 1, 2, and 3. And that very first chain of 3 is our very first double crochet. Our next stitch, we're going to work a front post, back post, 1 by 1 ribbing. So we're going to go in behind from right to left and pick up our next stitch. We're not working into the top, we're working a round, a front post double crochet. And then the next one is a back post double crochet. And you're just going to alternate those 2 stitches all the way to the very end. When you come to your very last stitch, I will meet up with you and show you what to do next. Just like that. So it's a 1 by 1 ribbing of front post and back post. I'm going to meet up with you down at the very last stitch of this row. Okay, so I'm down here at the chain and I want to show you how to end row 2. You're going to double crochet around from top to bottom, just like you would if you were front post double crochet, because your last stitch is a back post. So you want it to be a front post appearance by doing that. Just like that, you're going around the post. So now you're going to chain 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work that 1 by 1 ribbing all the way to the end, 1 more row, and then we will begin our center area here with our contrasting color. So go ahead and work 1 more row of 1 by 1 ribbing, and when you come down to the very end down here, you're going to double crochet into the top of that turning chain. So it's a nice straight edge where we can connect together once we're ready to. All right, I'm going to go ahead and work this next row and switch over to my contrasting color, and I'll be right back. All right, so once you've made it to the end, if you are switching colors, go ahead and do so after your very last stitch to the top of that chain 3. And now I'm just going to pull through that same stitch, the contrasting color with a slip knot on my hook, pull it through, chain 1, and now we're going to start our repeat. Every row will begin and end exactly the same. You will start with a single crochet in the first stitch and a double crochet into the first stitch. Then you're going to skip your next stitch right there and work into the following, the exact same repeat. Single crochet and double crochet all into the same stitch. So we're not losing anything by skipping that stitch. We're adding 2 into the next one. So we're not losing any stitches. So skip your next stitch, single crochet, double crochet into the following. That is your repeat. I will meet up with you to show you how to end these rows. We start with a single and a double in the very first stitch. I'll meet up with you to show you how to end this row. This is your chain. We are not going to touch our chain at this time. We are going to use that to sew together, but we're not going to use the chain. So we are down here to the last technically 3 stitches, including the top of your chain 3. But the last 2 stitches here that are full double crochet front post and back post, that's the ones I'm concerned with. So we're going to continue with the skip your next one, but in the last one here, you're going to place a single crochet only. That's how you end the row. And now you can use stitch markers to keep up with the beginning and the end of the row. And if you're not used to seeing these stitches where you chain 1, turn your work, and single crochet back into that stitch, if you're not used to seeing what that very first stitch looks like, I definitely recommend using stitch markers to keep up with your rows. So as you've seen, I just chained 1, turned my work, single crochet. Again, we're starting the next row. We're going to double crochet back into that same stitch. So we're starting it exactly the same as we did the previous row. And then you're just going to repeat. You're going to skip your next stitch and into the following stitch, which is the single crochet here. You're going to do a single and a double all into the same stitch. And then skip and single and double all into that same stitch. And work all the way down here to the very end, where you will place a single crochet into your very last stitch. Now this pattern is on a repeat. You can repeat it as many times as you would like. For this particular pattern, I did a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 times. 5 rows of that particular stitch repeat pattern. Now I'm going to go ahead and work on the next several rows, and then when I get to adding back my main color, I will meet back up with you. So go ahead and continue working 4 more rows of this stitch repeat. Okay, so I have reached the end of my last row, and you will notice that it is curving. That is because of the 1x1 ribbing. It is perfectly okay, because when we start the ribbing on the other side, it's going to even itself out. So go ahead and get your main color back, or like I said, if you're using one solid color, that's fine as well. You're just going to continue on. So I'm going to go ahead and connect my main color back with a slip knot on my hook. And I'm going to go in right where I left off and pull a loop through. I'm going to work over my tail for a little bit. And you're going to chain 1, 2, and 3 to start with. Now you're going to place 1 double crochet in every stitch across, ending at the other end with a total of 78 stitches. Now you're going to see that down at the end, we're going to have to add a stitch back, because if you remember, we removed 1 stitch on the end. So we will have to add 1 stitch back at the very end. So go ahead and continue working a 1 double crochet all the way along. And once we get down here to the end, I will meet back up with you and show you what to do next. Okay, so we've come down here to the end, and if you are short by 1 stitch, you will place 2 double crochets into your very last stitch to make up for your stitch that you shorted yourself on when we were doing this center part here. So go ahead and place 2 double crochets in that last stitch. If you are short, make sure and count your stitches. And just like that. Now you will continue to work exactly like we did here. Front post and back post, every other one. So 1, 2, 3, chain, turn your work over. And we're going to front post double crochet our very next stitch. And then back post double crochet the next stitch. And that is your repeat to the end. When you have reached the end, you will double crochet into the top of the chaining of 3. Down here at the very end, you will double crochet into the top chain. Okay? So go ahead and work that. You're going to work a total of 3 rows. This is 1. We are now on row 2. And then you will make 1 more pass. At that time, I will meet back up with you and we will finish this off. All right, so here we are coming down to the last stitch. I'm going to go ahead and double crochet around that stitch like such. I'm going to chain 1 and cut about 6 to 8 inches of tail and pull it through. And that will be for sewing the 2 ends together. So I'm just going to stretch this out nicely here. Pull it up to the center like this. Then I'm going to go ahead and get a darning needle, lace this up. I'm also going to sew in these ends real quick, and then I will return to show you how to finish the ends where we sew it together. Okay, so I got all my tails sewn in, and now we're just going to simply sew these 2 ends together. So I have my tail coming from this end. I'm going to come over here to the top of this chain 3 and bring my needle through the top of that chain 3 and pull it together. And then basically all I'm going to do is start whipping the stitches through these last sets of double crochets. I'm going to go down through and up through, catching both sides and pull that down. Okay. Now I'm going to reach over and go through this double crochet on that side and come back across through that double crochet and continue working my way down, making sure that my contrasting color here match up. And now if you wanted to, you could totally single crochet this together. Absolutely. That is entirely up to you. I'm just going to slowly work my way down, just whip stitching it together. We're going to give a little tug on this tail once we've reached the end, kind of make everything nice and symmetrical. Almost down to the end here. And this will allow it to continue to be stretchy and fit nice and comfortably. Now, if you have a smaller head, you would go with less amount of stitches. If you have a bigger head, you would go with more amount of stitches. All right, so I'm going to go into the top of that, chain 3 on that side and on this side, like that. Okay, so now I have worked my way all the way across, and I'll zoom out just a hair so you can see what's going on. As you can see, this part is a little bit wider at the moment. That is because of all of this looping and stitching it together. So I'm just gonna tighten these stitches down some. There we go. So that way it's nice and even on both sides. You can just work these stitches down on your tail a little at a time until it is nice and even. Then just finish sewing in your tail as you would normally. Once you have done that, you can cut away and you are finished with your Mint Kiss ear warmer. Go back up through there a little bit, just kind of weave in and out and try to go through some of the fibers. That helps hold these tails down into your work if you split the fibers with your needle and actually go through those fibers. So here we are, we're done there. I'm going to cut that tail away and turn it right side out. And there's your join. And here you go. So now this will match the second poncho that I did for the Mint Kiss design. All right, everyone, that is it for this pattern tutorial of mine. I hope that you have enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments section what you think of it and if you are making it. I would love to see your work. You can always send a picture of your finished objects, whether they're my patterns or someone else's or your own, to my email, or also in the description box you will find the Facebook group and how to reach me on Instagram. At any of those places, you can find down in the description box, up at the top of my main YouTube channel in the right hand corner. You just click on the hyperlink and it'll ship you right over to said page. Come on over, answer a few questions. They're really easy on the Facebook group, and we would love to have you. I want to thank you for watching, liking, commenting, following along, and hanging out with me through all of my videos. Be blessed, be a blessing, and until next time, everyone, bye for now.